on this week's episode of Marketing O'Clock.
The verdict is in on the Google antitrust case.
Microsoft is getting gifty with some updates that are rolling out swiftly in late November.
And Meta is giving us new ways to massage our messaging with the help of AI.
All on today's show.
Welcome, you are listening to Marketing O'Clock. Just stay tuned. Digital marketing news, but let's get specific. Digital ads, SEO and analytics, social media and more. Pretty much everything that'll make your website perform. With new shows every Monday. We give you the news with sass and puns and definitely hot takes. Thank you for tuning in. You know what time it is. It's officially Marketing O'Clock. Settle in, sit back, keep it locked.
Hey there, I'm Jessica Lee Budd.
AKA Jess.
I'm Julia Mateer.
And I'm Greg Finn.
And it's officially Marketing O'Clock.
Here on September 8th, 2025.
All right, so everybody looking probably noticed that I have a little change to me.
Mm-hmm.
I am 43 years old. Yes, I understand that. But I have frosted tips. They're kind of light. I thought they were going to be like platinum. But in our Rochester office at Cypress North, we do a fantasy football draft. But like nobody even comes to the draft or cares about it. We all just like dress up. And last year I had a suit. I slicked my hair back. And like everybody dresses up. And so I wanted to be Joe Burrow this time. And Lexi and Callie at work stayed after with me, put the little bonnet on my head, pulled the hair through with that metal pokey thing that just pokes your... I thought my hair, like, I thought when I took the bonnet off, I wasn't going to have any hair. But I have frosted tips, and I dressed up as Joe Burrow. We have an amazing video on TikTok and Instagram showing all the outfits and everything. But it was just really funny to me because I didn't really think everything through fully, I'd say. Once I had all the hair sticking out like Hellraiser and this bonnet, they put the dye on, or the bleach, I guess. And then I'm in this bonnet, this stinky bonnet. And I'm like, I got to drive home. And it was said 20 to 30 minutes. I'm like 10 minutes in already. And I'm driving in my car and it's like bright out with like it almost looked like shampoo on my head, and I got a bonnet on and people are looking at me, and then there's traffic and I'm like, oh my God. And then it starts to burn and I'm like, oh my God, like my hair, I'm not gonna have any hair. Like this is gonna be awful. But I made it home. It was like 35 minutes instead of 30 minutes. And I don't think I used enough of the purple shampoo because it seems like it's fading already, but big shout out. And I loved my costume of Joe Burrow. What'd you guys think of the video?
I thought the video was really funny.
Yeah, it was good.
I don't get it, like any of the references. I'm new to football, but I thought you guys did a great job.
So,
Your
yeah.
hair, though, you gotta spike it to show off the frosted tips. That's what you're doing
also,
wrong.
keep using the purple shampoo.
Yeah, you gotta do. Have you never done this before?
Leave it in for a little bit.
The purple shampoo. I left it in for 5 minutes.
Give it 10.
And then like you got to remove the gloves. I'm in the shower with like gloves on. Like
You're such a girl.
You could also dye your hair purple with that, so be careful.
Oh, see, I don't want that.
See, but it'd be good.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, 43 frosted tips MBD. And today's show is brought to us by our favorite sponsor. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say it. It's true.
Advisor.
When I was a kid, I never really liked reading that much, like especially the novels you got in school. And the thing I like always gravitated towards was choose your own adventures, and like especially like Goosebumps, where it's like I get to do my own thing. That's one of the best parts of Advisor is that you have total data integration freedom. And what does that mean? You say you can mix and match any combo of supported data, sources, and destinations. You have no mandatory upgrade. So if you want to pull data into a sheet, mix and match your different ad platforms, and then pull it into a Looker Studio, like you get to choose your own adventure, and you get to choose your own reporting, and you get to choose and find something that will be successful for you. You can also build your own custom AI agent. You don't need to use out-of-the-box solutions. You can set up a custom GPT with the API for your tailored knowledge prompts, things that are meaningful to you, not things that are meaningful to other companies. things that matter the most to you. There's also interactive analytics. You can use that with ChatGPT and Claude. You can engage, not just looking at it. You can ask questions. It's like really, truly your own story that you get to make, which is what we all need when it comes to reporting and data. However, there's one part that is not a choose your own adventure, and it's the pricing with AdsVisor. If you go to any of the big names, the expensive enterprise folks that do the same exact thing, you have to look and see, how many users do I get? Can I refresh my data weekly? Is it daily? You don't have any of that when it comes to AdsVisor. All subscription plans have the same capabilities. The only difference is the number of data sources that you get to put through. So Gu from AdsVisor says, it's like the simplicity of ordering a coffee at a coffee shop. You get 3 sizes. It's the same quality and type in all the sizes. The difference is just the volume. So if you need more data connections, you might be able to move it up, but you don't need to say, where am I going to export this to? Am I going to use Google Sheets? Am I going to use Looker? Okay, one's an add-on. How many users do I have? That's an add-on. It is simple and easy to understand the pricing of AdsVisor, which you just know they care about you, where everybody else is one-upping and adding it on, bolting things on just to make it work. That is not the case with AdsVisor. You have unlimited accounts per data source. And again, you can get all of this, a 14-day trial for just 99 cents. You can't afford not to do this. That's adsvisor.com, ADZVISER.com, ADZVISER.com, and get out there choosing your own adventure. All right, and into the main news this week, we've got a bombshell.
Ooh. A
Blonde
bombshell has entered the villa?
Is that what they say?
Yes.
Oh,
Look
can
at
I-
you in the Love Island reference.
Can I just tell you how happy I am that Love Island is over?
Did you hear about the reunion at all? I can tell you.
I have not. I'm so happy about it. For weeks and months, every conversation at this company was about Love Island. And I do not have the capability to watch a daily reality show. I just don't.
It's a little
See,
bit much.
people, I could go on. People say this. You probably watch TV every day. It's the same thing.
I want to watch
And
different
you.
things every day.
Well.
I mean, I don't, but most people do.
I just don't feel like watching Huda. Anyway, in the Google antitrust monopoly case, which the DOJ came out and said that Google was deemed to be a monopoly. And there were all this speculation of what the remedies could be. Could it be Google has to divest from Chrome? I know that Perplexity made an offer on Chrome a few weeks ago. Could they have to separate ads from different elements? Like, what are they going to lose because they have been deemed this monopoly? So what is the verdict? Well, the verdict is Google's not getting broken up. They're keeping Chrome, Android ads, but they will have to share search data and is barred from making exclusive search deals. There is essentially, this is, in my eyes, a nothing burger.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing, and it seems like Google is going to fight against this, is that they have to give some of the search data to qualified competitors, whatever that means. And they can still make deals with people, but they can't be like, this is an exclusive deal to Apple, let's say. But Apple can continue having its deal with Google, and that is a big source of revenue for Apple and obviously very good for Google. So there is like no actual damages that Google is going to have from this,
It's incredible.
than having to give some information, which I'm sure it's going to be impossible to read and everything like that to their competitors. So Judge Mahata had said, Google will not be required to divest Chrome, nor will the court include a contingent divestiture of the Android operating system in the final judgment. Plaintiffs overreached in seeking forced divestiture of these key assets, which Google did not use to affect any illegal restraints. There are strong reasons not to jolt the system and allow market forces to do the work. The big thing is that they're going to have to share their search data. And when they talk about search data, it isn't even ads data. It is just search data. And they don't have to share it to everybody, just to the qualified competitors.
Who decides that?
Yeah.
What have I been looking at?
This feels like so much for nothing.
We're
Yeah.
hearing about all the turning and knobs and all of this very shady stuff that came up from the ad side in this trial. And there is absolutely nothing that touches on that. It is literally, hey, you can't make an exclusive deal and you have to share to a couple competitors some search data. It's like, I feel like I've gone crazy. Like I've been reading all this documentation on ads and everything. I'm like, this is really bad. This is actually really bad. Oh, they didn't do this for Microsoft. They are going to be on the hook. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Are you surprised?
I am.
I feel like I'm not.
I know.
I feel like you could have
Yeah.
There is so much damning evidence, especially on the ad side, that
Mhm.
to me, maybe I'm just too nice of a guy or too hopeful that there's justice in the world.
Don't
and that,
ever get your hopes up.
Seriously, for justice, especially.
I don't know. It's just like, yeah, you look at it and you're like, well, this makes sense. And then you realize, oh, that's why Sundar is at the inauguration. And it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you're got funds and dollars and everything, it's just, honestly, it's sad.
You seem very beaten down by this. It's been a long saga, and here you are at the
Like,
end
Literally, like
with nothing.
nothing. And that's why I said on
less than you started with.
it's through Barry Schwartz. It's like, I want my hours back. I want my time back. Like,
Yeah, we could have
what
talked
am I
about so
doing?
many other things like Love Island.
No. But DuckDuckGo put out a statement from their CEO, Gabriel Weinberg, and they said, we do not believe the remedies ordered by the court will force the changes necessary to adequately address Google's illegal behavior. Google will still be allowed to continue to use its monopoly to hold back competitors, including in AI search. As a result, consumers will continue to suffer. We believe Congress should now step in to swiftly make Google do the thing it fears most: compete on a level playing field. Gabriel, Congress ain't stepping in. Congress is bought and sold too.
Sometimes you just have to say how you feel, even if you think no one's listening, right?
Yeah.
That's what they did here. They
Yeah.
spoke their truth. They got it out. I'm sure they feel so much better.
Nothing's happening unless you're a qualified competitor. Then you get something. Shocking. It really is shocking to me, but at the same time, Julia, just come to expect this.
Mm-hmm.
So sad. And now for this week's
Cool tool.
As a reminder, our Cool Tool segment is not an official endorsement or paid mention. We're simply sharing something we found in our travels that may be of use to our listeners and is really, really cool.
This week's cool tool is from Thomas Etchell on LinkedIn.
Thomas Etchell?
Thomas
Fun
Etchell?
fact we learned this week. We've been saying his name wrong.
Sorry.
So sorry. Thomas Etchell. On
But if you're
LinkedIn.
looking him up,
It's spelled,
it
yeah.
is ECCEL.
Yeah. So Thomas has a GEO AI mode / AI overview like query dashboard where you can add your search console and you can see the AI queries and AI like queries. You can also see other metrics like impressions, clicks, average position, and more. We have the link in our newsletter, so check it out.
Now it's time for this week's Take of the Week. This is a #fire digital marketing take with extra spice served up for you. We simply deliver the take for your consumption. We give no opinions. We don't influence. You make the call.
This week's Take of the Week, I don't know if we've done this one before, but Zaddle Marketing, Liam Zally, I believe is his name, at Zaddle Marketing on Twitter X, has a great meme. He said, I saw this somewhere. There's urinals. Are you guys familiar with the urinal and how urinals work in men's bathrooms?
Sort of.
How they work, like
Yeah.
functionally or etiquette?
Like the unwritten rules of urinals?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't.
It's like a big deal.
Yeah.
And so there's a lineup here of about 10 urinals, and somebody is on the very far one, maybe the second in, and it says me. And then a Google Ads rep walks into the bathroom and walks past the first one that's the farthest one away, which is the one you should be taking. And unless it's a child's urinal, you don't use child's urinals. A lot of men use child's urinals
Why?
because it's far away. But then the kids can't use it.
Also, don't you have to bend down? Isn't that like weird?
No,
or you
can use
just
them.
aim lower. I don't have what you have, so I've never.
Yeah, it's just
experienced
different
this.
aim,
Got it.
but it works the same. So anyway, the Google Ads rep walks past all the urinals and cozies right up, almost touching feet with the person in the other urinal, and says, "Hi, I'm your new account manager for the quarter." You guys have it like nice.
We have dividers,
Yeah.
but we don't have it nice because everybody just hovers and pees on the seat. So I would rather
that
somebody
is
stand
true.
next to me and not have their urine in my.
But it is weird when somebody like comes right up to you.
Has
Yeah,
this has
that's
happened to you? I assume.
It's very. I feel like most people understand the etiquette. Tables, has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
It's not that much to me. I feel like it's a very rare occurrence. Maybe like once every couple of years, somebody does something like really egregious. But
I feel like it happens to me kind of often, like 35% of the time.
no,
When there's
Whoa.
other
Too much.
urinals available, they
Yeah.
choose the one closest. Do you think people do it on purpose, like to be weird and freak you out? I might do
Ugh.
that.
Oh.
no.
If
You
I
don't
had
want-
that power
you don't want
be a creep.
I don't have the same problem as Tables.
You guys must just pee in different places.
Or maybe
Yeah, I don't
he's
know.
a better looking fella than me.
He doesn't have frosted tips.
Yeah.
But
Your life's about to change in the
no,
bathroom.
it's crazy. And then the kids thing is the big. And then you know what is honestly the worst bathroom offense ever, and you are 100% going to agree with me. So I had boy-girl twins, right?
Mhm.
The worst offense is when some person solo uses a family bathroom to take a dump.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
You're waiting outside.
An adult,
and you're
yeah.
like, I have like 4-year-old kids. I'm trying to get them in there. And then it's just one adult that comes out of the family bathroom. That should be jail.
There is no excuse for that. You just wait your turn, buddy. It's always a man.
Or just go in a normal bathroom.
That's what I mean. Wait your turn for the normal bathroom to be
Yeah.
available.
right. But it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I get this spacious thing and it's going to be great. I can just take a dump. It's like, no,
But who's taking their time taking a dump in public?
it happens a lot.
Men are disgusting.
Now it's time for this week's
Pew, pew.
lightning round. At this point in the show, we split up our content into 3 parts: paid, organic, and social.
And before we get back into the news,
Advisor, 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 advisor.
just another word about our sponsor, AdsVisor, because we cannot say enough. And we have a big announcement from them this week. A new destination is rolling out soon. So you already know that you can send your data quickly and seamlessly into Google Sheets, GPT, Looker Studio, and Claude. But soon, a 5th will be available, and it is Power BI. So all you folks out there that are using it for reporting, AdsVisor is now for you. It's specifically for one of you that asked for it, and Goo came through. Goo listens to his users. There is nothing like a platform that does that. Am I right? So the Power BI destination brings even more flexibility to what you can already do with this amazing tool. And just a reminder, again, all 5 of those destinations will be supported in the base level plan, which you can try out 14 days for just 99 cents. So check it out. Again, the Power BI destination is rolling out soon. So get on it, get ready for it. Head on over to adsvisor.com. That's ADZVISER.com.
First up for paid this week from Anthony Higman. He tweeted, LOL, wouldn't be a, parentheses, every single day without a Google rep emailing us about an account we have never managed or heard of before. LOL. Also, keep noticing that the third parties are no longer emailing from their WFX emails and are instead sending from google.com. He typed out .com. That's insane.
He did.
And then including that URL in their email signatures. Thought the emails were supposed to come from the WFX.domain. No?
Just right up against him at the urinal.
I
Yeah,
bet that
they
happens
really
to him
are.
all the time. Poor guy.
Yeah. Next up from Anthony Higman, Google Ads has new customization options for some of the graphs, charts, and reports. This may not be new to everyone, but we didn't cover it and he just spotted it this week. So you can now see conversion delay, performance anomaly insights, and notes.
Yeah, I think it's actually really cool. Like if you're looking at performance drops and you can see if you're like actually put notes in there
Mm-hmm.
in your account and you can say, oh, there was a note that happened here and then performance dropped or performance went up. Really cool.
Next, some Microsoft updates from Nava Hopkins. She posted this on LinkedIn. A few people had questions about bidding on Microsoft and particularly why a bid might be more than you set as a max CPC. So she went through it and said, to calculate the effective cost per click when multiple bid adjustments are applied, you multiply the base bid by each adjustment factor. So then she broke it down with how it works. So if your base bid's $1 and your desktop bid adjustment is plus 15%, the multiplier is 1.15. If your audience bid adjustment is plus 25%, the multiplier is 1.25. So then your final ECPC would be 1 times 1.15 times 1.25, which would be 1.4. So if both the desktop and audience criteria are met, the click would cost $1.44, rounded to 2 decimals. If you use bid adjustments, you need to establish whether you want the base bids to be lower with more aggressive bid adjustments or higher bids with lower bid adjustments. Some more from Nava Hopkins and Microsoft. Some new updates that are coming just in time for the holiday season.
You stole my joke for later.
My
Cease and
bad.
desist.
So first up, there's going to be campaign level negatives for PMax. She says the ETA for this is around November. They're also rolling out channel level reporting with an ETA of mid to late November, and then purchase goals with a focus on new customer acquisition.
It's awesome.
It is. It also is so funny to me when Microsoft has new updates like this because it's always just like what Google had 3 months ago, and now they get it. But I love it.
Don't yuck this yum.
I'm not. I'm excited.
You sound it.
I am.
That's like actually awesome.
No, these are all really
Yeah.
good. I'm happy about it.
Let's go. Yeah, Nava.
Yeah.
Nav.
I'm just going to pretend
Yeah.
Nava did all this.
She
Yeah.
did. I
I'm
mean,
sure
she's here
too
now.
nice. She'd
It's
be like, "Oh,
happening.
no. This is all Nava.
More news from Thomas Etchell. He spotted a new way to select and filter campaigns in Google Ads. So you can now use like checkboxes to filter the campaigns directly in the selector view, where before you had to filter manually by like labels, bid strategy, campaign name, stuff like that. I feel like I won't use this a ton just because I feel like when I'm filtering, I need to see like a ton of things. But it could be good for some. So I like it. Better way to filter. Also, that stupid filter bar never shows up for me sometimes, so hopefully this helps. Next, from Mike Ryan Retail on X, he had some ICYMI and search placement network updates. So he said, listen, this is just anecdotal. It's one campaign, but I find the extent to which ICYMI is expansionary on SPN deeply disturbing. I'll be looking to invalidate this finding in other campaigns/accounts, but my earliest recommendations on ICYMI turn off SPN. You should anyway. And it's this little chart that says early data suggests ICYMI likes to conquest SPN. And then you can see a little bar chart. Impressions by network for ICYMI is like way above everything else for search partners. And then the Google search is just a little tiny bit of it. And then it compares it to broad match, phrase match, exact.
And to be fair, Ginny did respond to this and she said, "Hi, Mike. ICYMI for search isn't designed to go more aggressively after SPN inventory than broad match, etc. We're not seeing that at an aggregated level either, but happy to take a look at any specific examples like the one you've highlighted." And then it seems like Mike is going to probably look into it further on the aggregate level. This was a small sample size, to be fair, and Google did say this should not be the case.
Last but not least, some Meta ads updates from Brom Vanderhalen. So first, Meta's rolling out, this is limited to ad accounts, the option to create a full funnel campaign, which allows you to combine ad sets with different objectives into a single campaign to drive conversions across the entire customer journey. There's also conditional formatting features in Ads Manager, which now provides more options for your setup. After running a conversion lift test, you can now export the report as a PowerPoint presentation.
Adorable.
Perfect, just what I wanted. Instant forms now have the option to set a minimum and maximum number of characters for answering specific questions. And then the option to run ads in the Facebook profile feed placement is now rolled out to 100% of ad accounts.
All right. And in the organic news this week, there was some findings from the documentation from the antitrust trial. So I guess that's something that could be good for us if you want to see more about how Google works. They have search user interactions, user data, and Chrome data. Marie Haynes at Marie_Haynes on Twitter did a great job surfacing all this. So I'm not going to rehash everything because there's a lot, but just the ways that Google utilizes user data at every stage of the process. And then there was another article. Barry did a great job over on Search Engine Roundtable, kind of recapping all this. But again, Marie did a fantastic job going into the weeds on it. But there are a few things that I thought were interesting. Spam score versus page quality, page rank versus a web page where it's really more web page based. There's also something called Glue where it logs the query and user data as well. So basically, when a user hovered over a link in the SERPs and like when they clicked, and kind of tying that all together. And then talked about rank embed BERT, which is it uses 70 days of search logs plus scores from the human raters. So there's a lot of information that kind of came out there, and I would check out Marie Haynes or Search Engine Roundtable for that. In other big news, Apple is allegedly launching AI search for Siri in 2026. And according to the article, this will basically turn Siri into an answer engine. Where right now, Siri's an idiot engine. Like, what is
Very unhelpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
so bad?
Yeah.
Siri. And it's going to pull information from across the web in a style similar to Google's AI overviews, ChatGPT, and Perplexity. Additionally, they are going to be relying partly on Google's Gemini AI model for the new search experience, allegedly, and it will expand it to Safari and Spotlight, which will give Apple multiple footholds in everyday search. So I think that's a pretty big deal. Like, if you could actually make Siri usable,
Yeah.
I think that may cut into some of the Google traffic that will come from Apple. No?
And people already use Siri that way. It
Yeah.
doesn't help them, but that's the way people treat Siri, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So they're going to get a better experience.
to be fair, because Julia, I don't think you like this. Do you use ChatGPT?
Yeah, sometimes.
I use ChatGPT every single day. Every single day. If Siri was ChatGPT, I would use it so much more.
I don't think I would.
Really?
Not a big Siri girl.
In the
Although
car,
it's
though?
Bad though.
Yeah.
But if you could be like, hey, do this, and it gave you like the answer you wanted every time.
No, I still think I'd Google it. I don't know. I just don't like Siri. I hate watching it load. And then it's like, sorry, can you repeat that? And I just don't have the time.
But what if it could export the results into a PowerPoint presentation? Sold.
I can't believe. Oh, okay, boomer.
Wow.
All right. And from Glenn Gabe, I just thought this was funny. He said, well, it finally caught on. Laughing emoji. Many publishers are now explaining to readers how to add them as a preferred source in Google. We did cover this in the past. And he's got a screenshot of everybody that, like all these news outlets that are saying, here's how to add us as a preferred source. So that's a thing. And if you're in news, you probably want to get your readers to mark you as a preferred source. And everybody's doing it. Microsoft is testing a floating Copilot search box. You can see it up on screen if you're watching on YouTube. Basically, it is sort of hovering over the SERPs, and it has the Copilot logo, and you can ask a follow-up with different questions if you have them in regards to the SERPs. But I watched football last night, and I thought the Copilot ad, I usually don't see a ton of ads because I don't watch a lot of live like TV. I thought the Copilot ad was really good. All they did is be like, you can make fun images. You know, they're not like, oh, we can do this, answer this, and blah, blah, blah. They're like, make fun images, turn me into a cartoon, turn me into a statue. And I thought it was great.
They're playing into what people actually
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
Everything is like so complex. And they're like, hey, make a funny photo. It's free. It's a funny photo, free.
Who wouldn't do that?
So smart.
That is
the
smart.
advertising. All right. Google is testing new direction buttons in the local pack. I look at this and I'm like, this is where we've gotten to. We've devolved. We're an idiocracy. Like, we are this dumb that it's the TikTokification of our lives. Before, when you would look at a business, you would be able to click on the website button or hit the directions button. And the directions button is that little sign that everybody knows. What do you think when you hear the word directions?
I'm going to be told how to get somewhere.
Okay. Well, they are experimenting with different text under the directions. One of them is map it.
Ugh.
Map it.
That, I feel like that you're just going to show it to me on a map.
Yeah.
The map
like
is
the
already
pin.
there.
Yeah.
The map, if you look on screen, it says map it, and there's a map there.
Map it makes me feel like I have to do something. I don't
Right.
want to
Yeah.
map it.
Like,
So-
Tell me where to go.
Wait, tell me if this isn't even better. There's another example that was spotted where it just says, instead of directions, map.
no.
No, then that's
just
going to
gonna
show
show
me a
me-
map.
Yeah.
Okay. There's another one that says go.
I'm more okay with that one.
I'm not.
Oh.
Go where?
Jess is
Like
Okay.
if this is your first time seeing it and you don't know that is directions, you have website and you
That's
have
fair.
go. I want to go to the
All right,
website.
here's
I
another
could be
one.
confused.
Route.
I'm okay
Route,
with-
route,
That's
whatever you want to call
okay.
it.
I'm okay with route.
Yeah.
And then here's the dumbest one I've ever heard. Get there.
That's bad.
They're testing get there.
What do they think people don't understand what directions means? There are so
Yeah.
many problems we could be solving instead of trying to talk like fools.
Like,
Get there.
is directions a problem? I have 10-year-olds and like they know what a direction is. They knew that when they were like 3.
Yeah, are they trying
Yeah.
to be cute? Because then, like, next
Get
we
there.
test website and it's like, browse me or something weird.
Yeah.
Like, what? I don't. It was fine. If it ain't
Internet.
broke, don't fix it. Internet's good. Let's do that one.
So dumb. We're just devolved to get there. And the Google is also testing what seems to be a knowledge panel in the AI overview. It shows up in where the AI overview is, but it's not labeled AI, which is strange because Google likes you to label everything AI. But it seems like, and I can talk to Barry Schwartz about it, but it seems like it is like really a knowledge panel, but just not disclosed as AI. And then Microsoft Clarity is stepping up commitment to consent and privacy compliance. So either you have to go through and it's going to be good for everybody because it adheres to proper privacy, but you need to go through and make sure that you are adhering to those rules. And lastly, here from Google's Hotel Center regarding price accuracy enforcement, they are trying to adhere to better pricing, essentially. So if you're in the hotel game, you want to check that out. Oh, there's one more thing as well. Danny Sullivan had, I don't know if it's like a keynote, but a big speech. You can find it over on Search Engine Land, the full speech if you want. But basically he said, good SEO is good GEO, which like, duh, I guess. And he said a few other things that I thought were interesting is he said, AI overviews have led to a 10% increase in searches in the US and India, maybe because they suck.
Yeah.
And also Google does up to 5,000 launches, aka updates per year. The last figure was like 4,000 and something. So it seems like there's more updates to Google than ever.
Hooray.
And that's it in organic. What's happening in social, bud?
All right. First up, just a quick FYI, LinkedIn is expanding access to the AI hiring assistant. So if you're a recruiter and don't currently have this, it's rolling out globally in English by the end of the month. So look out for that. British teachers should rejoice. Pinterest is rolling out in-app push notifications in the UK meant to get kids off their devices during school hours. So if they're your target audience and this works the way it's supposed to, you may see a shift in engagement trends. So just be on the lookout for that. Instagram is also changing its approach to in-app notifications. They're going to be demoting updates from the same person or profile if it feels like it's being repetitive from other users. And new filters are being added to the DM experience, allowing users to sort by things like story replies, unread, unanswered, and more. There's also a new folder option for organizing your messages, which I think if you have a really active account could be really helpful. You can sort things. Keeping it meta here, if you're using or considering to use the incremental attribution model in Meta ads, they've released updated documentation to provide more context. So that's some good beach reading if you're still on vacation in September. Meta is now going to give users the option to exclude, listen to this one if you've been tuning me out, to exclude certain terms from AI copy outputs in the platform so you can better control the messaging that's being pitched to you by the machine. I feel like that's really helpful.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah, rein it in a little. And if you're looking to launch your products on TikTok via its in-stream TikTok shop tools, they have new courses and guides available to help you get set up and running just in time for the holiday season, Julia. I'm going fast here because there's a lot of news and it's the lightning round. YouTube is rolling out a new way to share your channel's community posts while it's also adding new interactive gifts within live streams to help encourage creator donations. So I know Greg loves interactive gifts. And finally, if you are advertising on Snapchat, you'll be happy to know they're launching a bunch of updated app ad formats, revised bidding strategies, improved targeting tools, and more. There's so much to explore here. A lot of it is pretty niche, but if you're subscribed to our newsletter, if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, you should get your butt over to newsletter.marketingclock.com to get all of the links to the articles and read more for yourself.
And that brings us to our real life segment, straight out of our accounts and into your ear holes. It's time for Working Hard or Hardly Working, where we talk about what's going on in our IRL work. good, bad, or otherwise.
Hardly working for me is the back to school season. I feel like so many mamas and papas out there just have so much going on this week. There's orientations, there's early release days. There's just not enough time in the day for that. But we still get everything done. So I just want to vent and just shout out to all the working parents out there. You are working really, really hard and you're doing great, sweetie.
Working hard for me this week is our creative team, Lane and Annika. I needed so many ads within like 24 hours, and they did them all, and they did them perfectly. So they're working hard.
All right. And for me, I've used this in the past, but it hasn't been for like 2 years. So I'm going to use it again. We offer free PPC audits for Marketing O'Clock. You can go right to marketingoclock.com, sign up for a free audit, and I do a 30-minute Loom just talking about what's in your account. It's white labeled and everything like that. But Loom makes everything so easy. Even with some follow-up questions to an audit, I can just jump in Loom and I can do something in 3 minutes that would be a 15-minute email, and it's better.
Way better.
That's the thing. It's like you save time and it's better. It's like that is like AdsVisor level quality. But I just love using Loom now because it there's just no downside to it. And it's like I'm just going to be a Loom guy.
I like
And
that.
I have been, but I need to do that even more. And that's like something I want to do here for the rest of 2025 and 2026.
Now it's time for this week's ICYMI.
ICYMI people.
This is something you just might not have seen. Maybe something that you overlooked, but you shouldn't have.
ICYMI people, we have a LinkedIn post from the one and only Jill Saskin Gales. Hey, girl. She says, AI Max likes this. AI Max doesn't like that. Those were in quotes. You know what AI Max actually likes? Achieving your goals as set forth by your conversion tracking and your smart bidding strategy. I know that sounds so much more boring than saying AI Max likes this or that or whatever. She has examples, but it's the truth. AI Max will test some or all of those things, not because it likes them, but because it is designed to go beyond your existing query set to find new opportunities that will meet your goals. Your goals as defined by your bid strategy and your conversion tracking, which are hopefully as close as possible to your true business goals. That's a really refreshing take.
Preach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, if it's not working for you, you're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah. You're telling it what to do.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be earth-shattering advice, but it is.
It is.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody overthinks things. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Jill's got it.
Yeah. Love it.
Usual.
Now it's time for our must-read marketing article of the week. An article so advanced, so in-depth, so detailed that we simply cannot cover it in its entirety on today's show.
This week's must-read marketing article of the week comes from the team over at AdSquire, and I will just say this is written in sentence case. This is a blog post, and you can actually consume this.
Wow.
And
There's still a lot of exclamation points in there.
Yeah, it's fine though. It's called The Algorithm Apocalypse: Google's New Rules and Our Survival Guide for Lawyers. So yeah, they say Google's changing everything again. There's some caps, but you can read this. It is very good. So it talks about AI mode, hijacking the SERPs, LSAs, camouflaging as organic results. Even gets into Instagram trends, YouTube being the devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other. So there's a ton in there. If you're a lawyer or if you work with any lawyers or know any lawyers, this is a great thing to send. So thank you to the team over at AdSquire. And now we are going to hop into an interview with Ameet from Hop Skip Media. She had the must-read marketing article of the week last week, and we are going to get into it more with the AdWords girl. All right, and I have Ameet Khabra here from Hop Skip Media. Ameet, you had a great post last week, and we just had to have you on to talk a little bit more about it. If you forgot about what the post was, it went into everything automation, the good, the bad, the ugly, called How to Tell if Google Ads Automation Helps or Hurts Your Campaign. So thanks for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. And I think you really did a nice job looking at taking a rational approach to this. So I know that you really wanted to let people know and how to diagnose when automation is failing. So do you have any thoughts as to how people can really tell if the automation is hurting?
Yeah, there's a couple. I think that a lot of people, especially like I spend a lot of time on Reddit now, and a lot of people will be like, my campaigns aren't generating a lot of volume. And I'm like, are your CPA targets too tight? Are these other like, did you do is your conversion tracking actually working? Like random little things like that people don't necessarily think about. And I think there's really easy ways to find automation drift. It's just a matter of actually knowing where to look. So having scripts like the anomaly detector that Google has released a really, really long time ago is a really great tool to use just because it'll tell you if spend has kind of gone out of whack, if clicks are, doing something weird, something along those lines that kind of give you an idea of, where to kind of just start looking and maybe something being off and then using something like budget pacing to really just see if the automation might be pacing you a little too far. And even like I think in your last episode of MOC, where you mentioned the bidding strategy report, the top signals, and that one's a really great one as well, where you can kind of just sit there and look and be like, is it relevant or is it irrelevant for our business? And then go backwards and figure out are the signals that we are feeding into the system, is it actually clean data or is it, data that might not be the greatest? So those are a couple little ways to take a look.
Awesome. And one thing that I don't think enough advertisers understand is when you talked about the cannibalization of PMax and that people are running search and then all of a sudden PMax comes in and the impression share drops. Can you talk a little bit about that and what people need to look for if there is that cannibalization?
Yeah, because I remember, you probably remember as well. Everybody, when PMax came out, was just screaming at the top of their lungs, "It's stealing brand! It's stealing this!" And it was Kirk's book that actually was talking about impression share. Yeah, right in the back. That was talking about impression share, but looking at it in terms of like, is there budget to scale? And I started thinking about that in that sense, where I was like, okay, well, there must be something in the columns that kind of give us that idea. So if you're running a search campaign and now you've implemented PMax, looking at impression share is a really great way to kind of just take a look. Also, if you just notice that your impressions or even your conversions are dropping in search, but you see it rising in PMax, there's probably something happening. And then using not the custom columns, but using the impression share columns to really kind of paint that out. So if you see impression share go up for PMax in search, but you're noticing that on the search end rank is continually kind of going down, you have that idea of like, okay, someone's stealing from search and it's likely PMax.
Awesome. Yeah, I thought that was great. And you had kind of alluded to this as well, but you can do great things with automation and you can also box it in. So let's talk just some common mistakes that people have. I know we talked about some of the targets, but even just longer form for people that don't necessarily know, like how can you really set automation up to fail?
Yeah, so we can kind of go back to the targets and saying maybe those are a little too restrictive. So you want to look at something like you're lost in impression share due to rank. And if that's really high, but then you have a low top or the absolute top impression share, that kind of gives you an idea of the fact that like, you know what, maybe we're throttling our campaign a little bit too much here, and then budget pacing on that side of really just trying to figure out if you don't actually have enough budget. So we'll see those limited by budget signs in our Google Ads accounts, and sometimes they're red and sometimes they're yellow. And I think a lot of people, especially lately, have been trying to figure out what the distinction between the two is. And red is usually like a warning sign, and yellow is just Google saying, hey, if you want to spend more money, we have inventory for that essentially. And then when we look at budgeting problems, we can look at something like high lost impression share in budget, and then couple that with a lost impression share in rank. So if we have those two discrepancies, then we kind of have an idea that there is room for that search campaign or whatever to compete, but because of budget, we're not able to do so.
Again, if you listen to Google and you listen to, let's say, ad strength, which frankly I don't listen to, and I'm assuming you don't listen to either, I thought it was a interesting take that I completely agree with. But when you're talking about just like RSAs as well, is like, do we really need 15 headlines, 4 descriptions if we are a SMB and don't have a ton of budget? Like, is that going to help? And I like the fact that you had recommended, like, you can do 8 to 10 headlines and 2 to 4 descriptions. Like, you don't need to do that. And I think it's a great point where you just might not have enough data to make that.
And it's a reality for a lot of our customers as well, where they're just, there's only so much that we can do for them. And we don't need 48,000 ad combinations. Like nobody needs that many ad combinations, right? So I kind of sat there and thought about it from that stance. And then, Fred has also kind of said the same thing where, 8 to 10 is his suggestion. And in Google's documentation, I'm pretty sure Jill Saxton-Gales actually found that they were saying to do 11. So then I kind of sat there and I'm like, I feel like 8 to 10 is a really good sweet spot because you have enough variation in there that you can really ensure that every single headline is distinct and every single description line, 2 to 4 really at that point, is distinct. And then you can really collect as much data as you want, or not you want, but as much as you possibly can, and then start making iterations from there.
It's just sometimes too much work for these SMBs that don't have a ton of volume. Like you're never going to.
And sometimes it's hard to write that many lines, though.
Yeah.
Like 15 description lines is quite a bit. And how do you talk about like a B2B sales really at this point? Like I don't know how to talk about enterprise software in 15 different ways, but I can possibly do 8. Like
we touched on this last week, and it's something that I've got one client where we kind of really have been leaning into this a little bit more because we have such a time lag from click to conversion. And you had talked about in this article, again, it's a must read over at searchengineland.com. But you can use the conversion value or conversions, let's say column in Google Ads, and then you can do it by conversion time. Can you just talk about that a little bit? We tried to on the show, but this is where we get into the weeds here and why people should look at both of those.
Yeah, I feel like conversion by time just gives you a more complete picture where conversions are just, what Google's able to report on in that moment. But the way that Google reports our conversions is based off of the date that the person clicked, not off of the date that they actually converted. So then midweek, especially for like lead gen clients, which is predominantly the work that we do, midweek, sometimes it looks kind of sad and we're just sitting there going, oh no, what happened? And then once we get into the end of the week, we notice that leg actually fills in and we're able to see that. So oftentimes it's a tool that we use to really explain it to the client, but also ease our own anxieties, because sometimes we'll be like, well, we don't, the ad account says we only had 4 conversions, but really in reality there might be 8 that's coming down the line. It's just that they just haven't fully come through. So I really love using those two against each other, as more so for an education stance, I guess, and just to ease my own anxieties, just to give us a better understanding of what's happening and not just taking the conversion column for face value.
And in the article, you've had some of your favorite scripts. I know you already talked about the anomaly detector tool, the Ngram analysis that you've got in there as well, budget pacing. You're a big script person?
I love script. Mine love for it actually started at my first like big girl PPC job. I had to manage like 63 accounts by myself. It was just too much. This was like, I want to say 09. Possibly.
Oh my God.
It was long enough that I've forgotten how long ago, but like there was much more control at that point. There was just no way that I could possibly do it on my own. So then I just started talking to the BI guy who got shipped off onto the other side of the office because we had no like place in the marketing team because everyone was like, we don't know what you guys do. And I'd always just sit there and talk to him and he's like, you should try scripts. So then me and him would just sit around writing them all day. And it was like the best thing on the planet because then like bid adjustments were happening based off of weather because we were in auto at that time. And then we just knew that like obviously rainy days, people aren't coming in. So it would just automatically adjust everything for me. And it was just the most amazing thing on the planet. So I'm a big lover of scripts.
What would you say? Because I feel like there's honestly so many people that are still stuck in their ways that don't accept sort of the reality of where ads, advertising, Google ads, everything is going. What would you tell them about automation? Like, should they adopt it? Should they test it? Go all in? Like, what would you say, just like a recommendation to anybody that's listening right now that is scared?
I think the biggest misconception is that we have a choice. We don't, unfortunately. It's in smart bidding, it's RSAs, PMax, it's literally everywhere. Google is finding new ways to add in automation. So it's more or less of just like, what can we control is really what the question is. So ensuring that our conversion tracking is in place, making sure that we actually are adding negatives and consistently. We want to make sure that we're using first party lists, website lists, offline conversion tracking, CRMs, like all that stuff, the things that we can control and feed back into the platform really should be the focus. So I think a lot of people, sometimes I'll see chatter online and people going, I don't want to use automation, but I'm like, you already are in smart bidding. So I'm like, I don't really know how you actually avoid it. It's a question of how do you just work with it?
Yeah, totally. Like, that is all automation. We also talked about just turning it into an asset. And I think, again, a lot of those things really help cut some of the wasted spends and also like open it up, right? Like I think that limited element is one thing that I think you nailed, like hit the nail on the head with that one. So awesome. Well, where can people find more of you? How do they listen to you? Where do they go if they're looking for more?
I feel like I'm everywhere now, but predominantly LinkedIn if you want more consistent content, I guess, from me. I'm the AdWords girl everywhere on the internet. I feel like I have to say this. I know that it's Google Ads now. I'm very aware. I just love AdWords. Like that's when I started. So for me, it's like a sentimental thing. I just can't let go of the name, but I'm AdWords girl everywhere on the internet. And then if you want to check out the agency, it's Hopskip Media.
Okay. And no other content, no podcasts, anything you want to promote?
Not right now. We're kind of on a hiatus on the podcast side things. And it's a lot of work. I don't know how you guys do it, honestly.
I don't either. And then just throw interviews on too. Like, well, yeah, but
it's a lot. Okay. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say definitely must follow and really appreciate all of the awesome content. And thank you so much for taking the time to hop on Marketing Collect today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. And in some sad news, Alan Bielweiss has passed away at the end of August. He was a prominent figure in the SEO space, really known for SEO audits. And Susan Winograd had a very heartfelt post over on Facebook talking about how close she was and how impactful, and also has a GoFundMe out there. And, you know, obviously this is so sad, but I think the thing that I love about this community is you can just tell how many people really help each other out, and just like the outpouring of appreciation and good thoughts. And you can just tell like lived a really full life and really helped people. I'd say like you could tell like that's a loss, but that's the positive. And there's a GoFundMe as well, if you want, that Susan had set up there. So thoughts and prayers to that.
And now onto our playlist of curated songs to work to, which you can find over at playlist.marketingoclock.com. For me, this week is a shout out to my brother, who is definitely not even listening, but I'm going with Cut Hands by Deftones. Greg, what are you putting on the playlist this week?
I'm going with MGK, Treading Water.
I'm going with Goodbye by Sabrina Carpenter.
All right, that does it for today's show.
It is now officially not Marketing O'Clock.
Thanks for listening.
We miss you already.
And we can't wait to see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Marketing O'Clock. If you're looking for more information on today's topics, head over to marketingoclock.com/newsletter to receive every single article we covered. We share the news as it breaks in our Discord community. Head over to community.marketingoclock.com to join.